Can-Do Conversations. I am Cheryl Williams, the Can-Do Mom.
I'm CJ Williams, the Can-Do Dad. Thank you for being here.
Welcome, guys. We are happy to have you here for another Can-Do Conversation.
Yes, welcome.
Yep. And we will give you just a little bit of info up front. It's like we always like to do in case you're new here.
Yes.
Or you just want a little refresher. These are conversations that we have amongst ourselves all the time. And so we want to incorporate you into the conversation. We want you to see, how can you extend the conversation outside of just what we're talking about here? How can you apply this into your life, right?
Yes.
And so we don't want you just to listen and then listen to the next one, listen to the next one. We want you to talk about it. We want you to put together a plan.
Yes.
And we want you to take action on it.
And thank you for listening.
Yep.
Or watching.
Yes, we appreciate you, being
Very
here
much.
and doing that. And so today's topic, since we're just going to jump right in, you'll understand why we're jumping right in. It's going to be very important here in just a minute because we want to talk about creating a wave rather than a ripple.
Yes.
Can you see that in your mind? Like, what's the difference, right? Waves, they're big, they're bold, they make a bigger impact.
Yes.
Whereas like a little
ripple,
ripple,
they make you get closer where you want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you're riding that wave.
And they can be very destructive as well, though, right?
Oh, they can crush you.
And so you want to, when we're talking about today, creating a wave in your life, how are you creating a wave versus how have you been creating a ripple? Just a little here, a little there, little pebble versus like going all in and creating that wave.
Or even starting the ripple and then turning it into something and then self-sabotaging maybe and then bringing it back down.
Or, one of the ones I like is just sitting in there and kind of rocking the boat, right? You're rocking the boat.
Rock it.
You're just creating little ripples, right? Versus to create a wave, what do you have to do? Who do you have to become?
What do you have to create?
What do you need to change about you so you're not just creating little ripples? You're actually creating a bigger wave that has a bigger impact for your life and for those around you as well.
Yes. Yep, because it'll help you and your family and everyone around you at all times.
And so how we bring this back to us is like, we have the conversation a lot is like, why are we doing what we're doing, right? And it's like, what are we doing? Where are we going? What is the purpose behind what we're doing? Because,
got to have that discussion about it.
Right, because on a daily basis, like, if I didn't get on social media, I'd be okay, right? If I didn't create stories and reels and posts and, podcasts and shows and be on YouTube and do all, I'd be perfectly fine. But it's not always about me, right? It's about what wave can I create? What impact can I create by shining my light, right? Putting that out into the world, and how can I make an impact on other people's lives?
Yes.
And that's
together as a couple too.
Right.
And I like when we have discussions, and I like the fact that we're sharing our life with them.
Right. And with you. Because that's what we decided. It's like we could have these conversations amongst ourselves.
We had them anyway.
And we do. And so it changes and impacts our life, and it creates a little ripple, right?
Yes.
And so when we, though, take that conversation, we turn on the lights and the camera and we talk to you guys, right? Or we're posting things on social media, or we're going out into the community, or we're putting on events. So we're, having different groups that we have, or, meetings of the mind, we get together. That creates a bigger wave, right?
Yes, it
that
does.
actually creates a change that's bigger than ourselves. It's bigger than just what we can do in our own home or with our own relationships. So that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Well, think about it. We're creating the wave, but also by creating the wave, it is creating a ripple effect throughout our surroundings, our neighborhood, and the world.
Right? And can you visualize what a wave looks like, right? Versus what a ripple looks like? I think we've all taken rocks and skipped them across the lake,
tossed them in
some water.
And one drop just bloop.
And it just makes that little ripple, right? But within a couple seconds, it's done. Versus a wave is normally something that you have a smaller wave sometimes, and then sometimes it's bigger.
They're bigger.
But it rolls in. But the thing with waves is they're continuous.
They are.
A ripple just happens slightly and then goes away.
Well, remember, you can also be in that wave and collapse and fall and don't know how to get out of it because you maybe jumped into 100,000 reasons and just know how to get out of it and then start again.
And I think that's where those lessons that we talk about, or, no need to reinvent the wheel, go with someone who's done those things before, or learn from someone, or become a part of someone so that, you have that buddy system, you have that accountability, you have that, because one of the things, like if you're out playing in the waves and you're surfing or you're swimming, you have to be careful because sometimes those waves can overtake you as well.
Yes.
And so I think that's where coming back and knowing where your center is, knowing the reason, the purpose behind what you're doing, knowing why you're doing the things that you are doing. And then that brings you back, kind of grounds you back into that so that you can ride those waves, so that you can, because if you look at a wave has two different people can look at it and have two different perspectives. Like, oh my gosh, that thing's going to come and overtake me. Or someone else can say,
yes,
wow,
that's perfect.
Well, that is the best wave out there. I can go out there and ride. That's the best one I've had all year.
Yes. Well, you got to think about it also when they are doing lessons, so you can ride those waves, right, and start surfing and everything. When you don't have waves and you're out there with your trainer, what are they going to teach you? How to, when you're in the water close to the rocks, and you're deep and you're rolling around, how to get out of that, how to get out of the vertigo, thinking that you're, up but going to the top, but actually you're going to the bottom. So teach you how to fall so you don't get hurt. So
that's a good lesson for life too. It's like, you can think that you're creating a wave, but maybe you're still just sitting out there.
Or splashing.
Or you're splashing, or you're frantic, right? Because you don't know how to handle what's coming or what's going or what's happening.
Yes.
But if you have someone there who can guide you, who can lead you, who can say, hey, you know what? We're fine. Look.
Yeah, it's
just
okay.
Be still. You're good.
Or
You're
how
good.
about this? Stand up.
Yeah.
You're flailing. Put your feet down.
Oh.
Yes.
Right? Because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And it's easy to get
lessons.
caught up in that vicious cycle, that spin, that going on and on and on, because you don't know what you don't know.
Open your eyes and see where you're at the moment.
And the worst thing you can do when you're in that is to panic, is to start
because it's
grasping at things.
Because it's something new.
Right.
So you don't know what to expect.
Yep. And so that's why a lot of people, stay at the shallow end of the pool, right?
Yes, and just have them splash.
They just create the little ripple because that's easier. That's more convenient. That's more known.
That's what they're used to.
Versus venturing out to the deep end or out of the pool altogether and going out into the ocean or going out into and saying, bring it on, let's go, because you know that you have the tools, because you've done the things that you need to do to have those tools in your tool belt. You have the people around you that can help you through that. And so when you are creating those waves, you're not getting sucked under by them. You're not getting overtaken. You're actually riding them out to their fruition.
And having the balls to step out of the pool because the ocean's right there, right? What do you do when you're comfortable? Hotels here, the pool's here, but the ocean was right there the whole time. And this is where you stayed for a couple days because it was comfortable. Instead of going out scared of the waves, what was going to hit you, and just having the guts to do it, or maybe somebody taking your hand and pulling you along.
And this is for anything in your life. And we're going to bring this back to our life. It's like, okay, where have we been just making a ripple? And how can we then make a wave, right? In your life, how have you been just playing it safe or, staying in your comfort zone and not really going out and pushing yourself and going for more and going for what you want because you're comfortable where you're at, and to go somewhere else or to do something different, you're going to have to get uncomfortable, right?
Like myself, doing what we're doing now. Instead of me keeping my mouth shut, actually verbalizing and talking more and opening up with you. It took some strength from me, and you guiding me and helping me along that journey. And
having those conversations, it's not an attack. It is a conversation. It's like, hey, we're having these conversations. A conversation means there's multiple people talking.
At the same time.
There's dialogue going on. Well,
Correct.
not at the same time, because we've attempted not to talk over each other.
Yes.
But at the same time, in a flow, right? Just like we do. I mean, we all talk, we're all used to that flow, but as soon as a camera comes on and a light turns on, it's like, okay, it does not compute, I don't know what to do. It's like, it's the same thing. It's just a conversation. It's a flow.
That's all it is.
And so when you can go through that, it's like, oh, it is. Okay, yeah. We're putting our thoughts out there
and just
for other
talking to
people.
you.
What's the worst thing that can happen?
Right? Fumble, get back up.
And so, and there's always a learning curve. There's always, you're never going to be an expert at something until you've gone through it enough to go from the novice into the, here I can learn, I've learned this.
Going down the bunny
ramp, keep
bunny hill.
Going up. You keep going up in your experience. You keep going up in the time that you've done something. The more you do something, the more reps that you have in it.
The easier
The easier it gets, and the more that it starts to flow and it becomes more natural to who you are. Yes. And so that's where we're at in this. It's like the reason we wanted this conversation today is because we do see a lot of people playing it safe. We do see a lot of people wanting to create a wave, but they're scared. Wanting to do something different, but they don't know how.
Or they bought the equipment to do a podcast or something and never have done one.
Or you want to travel, or you want to learn how to cook, or you want to start a new business, or
you got your passport, but you never book anything.
Right. Or you wanted to, learn some new skills. You wanted to, get something new under your belt, and yet the fear of the unknown, the excuses, the things start to pile up, and that becomes your wave of bringing you down instead of a wave that you can ride and that will make you rise. Right. It actually, that wave of fear and doubt
and not knowing what's going to happen,
worry and the unknown, those waves start hitting you, and your ripple is not big enough to affect the wave.
Yeah, even for your family. Like you used to do the baking, and we wanted some of the stuff you were cooking all the time, but you're not going to stay in the kitchen the whole time. So somebody else had to take care of task. I do the bread. I do the zucchini bread. I wanted more zucchini bread because it was freaking awesome. So what do?
Learn how to do it.
Just give me the damn recipe, and then I can do it.
Right. Same thing with the kids. Like, they want to learn. We want them to learn these skills.
I mean, go ahead and cook your eggs. Go ahead and do your breakfast.
Because how do they learn? By doing, right? The same thing is like, we've been here making like a lot of our own things. We get, raw milk. It's like, okay, we're teaching the kids though skills. Could we go out and buy butter? Of course we can, right?
She made butter yesterday.
But it's like, instead of going out and buying it, how about we learn a skill? Doesn't mean we have to use it all the time, but it's a skill that we have.
Right.
It's a skill that can be passed down because then people know these. Same thing with yogurt. It's like, okay, how do we take one thing and make it into multiple things? It's a skill to learn. It's something to learn. How do you take something that's fermented in a jar and turn it into something that rises in the oven with some flour and some water and some heat? And so there's a lot of different things that you can learn through this. Or how do you get better at speaking? Or how do you get better at whatever those things are?
Just get on more stages,
or
talking,
or just talk, communicate.
Social media, talk.
How do you get better at, how do you lift more? By starting where you're at and pushing yourself forward. How do you get more steps? By taking more steps today than you did yesterday. By having a standard and keeping the commitment you make to yourself.
Keep it going.
All of these things, how do you do that? You do it one foot in front of the next and push yourself to do that. But the whole thing of this is in order to go from ripples to waves.
Well, it's to stick your toe in to make that ripple.
Right.
Just
that's
jump
what
in.
People are doing. It's like they're putting their toe in.
And it goes.
Like,
that's
I don't
it.
like that.
No.
That was a little uncomfortable.
Instead of just jumping in.
Right. And if you notice, if you put a toe in, you don't make much of a ripple. If you put a foot in, it's a little bit more. If you jump in, you got it for a minute, right? You get a little bit more of something going on. And so we're saying, take it from the pool to the ocean and expand what you can do and ride those waves. Don't be overcome by them. How can you learn how to ride and navigate and enjoy that journey instead of letting that keep knock down your butt each time?
Well, that means getting more information. You don't know what you're doing, so you're going to get more information to learn how to do more and always strive to do better and then better. Somebody's going to tell you the wrong thing. You're going to try that out. You might fall but get back up. Because all information is different, and you're going to learn from experience.
And the main thing is that you don't just keep gathering information. You have to take
you're doing it at the same time
on the information that you're given, or it's just information. Right.
Because you can sit there for weeks and months going.
And some people sit there for years.
And just like when you buy products from seminars.
Or you go to events.
You go to events all the time. You never open up the product you just bought, sitting on the shelf.
Next to all the rest of them.
Yeah, they're just lined up.
Yeah. And so you have the information, you have the tools and resources, you have the things that are there. You know what you need to be doing. You have to have the conversation with yourself, though, of getting uncomfortable, being comfortable, getting uncomfortable, right? Putting yourself in places where you have to learn. It's either sink or swim, right? You're going to learn the lesson one way or the other. And so figure it out. If you can have someone there helping you navigate, all the better.
Yes.
But staying in indecision or staying in the comfort zone or staying in what you know is not going to push you to that next level, nor is it going to create an impact on those around you either.
And the journey is the best part.
Yep.
Smiling, have a little fun. You can have the nervous energy, but have fun with it. And when somebody's teaching you and you're absorbing all this information, take it. And be proud of yourself and be happy that that person's there helping you. And then rise above. And then make that wave.
Yeah, and the same thing, like most of you have children or you know children or, you've been a child yourself. So it's either one of those categories.
You better have.
The only way that you learn is through, right? We don't, when babies come out the womb, they don't know how to walk. They don't know how to talk. They don't know how to crawl. They don't know how to eat solid food. They don't know how to do much, right? And yet along the way, we're pushing them and we're encouraging them and we're guiding them and we're wanting them to build these milestones along the way, right? They learn how to crawl. They learn, first we learn how to roll over from front to back
or
and
lift
back
your head
to
up.
front, or lift your head up, or learn how to crawl a little bit, learn how to eat a solid food, learn how to take little steps. And if
your first word,
if you started, if the baby started walking right away, that's not how it works, right?
That'd
They
be a
fall
little
down.
scary.
How many times do they fall down? How many times do we encourage them to keep going? Come on, do a little more.
You can do more.
Do a little more.
And your hands are out guiding.
The more that you do, the stronger you get. You're going to start learning the motions, the things that you need to do. You're going to start getting that strength. And the encouragement keeps them going, but also the doing. Like, okay, I fell down. I'm going to get back up. And babies just have that innate sense. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going from here.
Yep.
I'm going to there. I want this over here. I'm going to crawl over there to get it.
I'm going to keep going.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And so when we're young, we're learning things at a rapid pace. We're getting out of our comfort zone. We're doing things we haven't done before. We're putting ourselves, and as a parent or as an adult, we're encouraging these small children, babies, infants, children, toddlers, and as they continue to grow, to do all those things. But there comes a time in life when we get to this adulthood and it's like, well, we've learned all those things.
And then you put the brakes on everything.
We don't learn anything else. We don't get outside of our comfort zone. We don't want to fall down, right?
Or learn anything new.
But also, it's okay to fall down. It's not how many times you fall down. You gotta just get back up, right? Because that's how you learn. And so you learn by doing. You learn a lesson.
The actions. And
you keep going. You don't let that derail you. You don't let that fall stop you. It's like there comes a point in life when we look at those things now as failures instead of just part of the journey.
Oh, big time. You're going to learn from every failure and know that ahead of time.
And you're going to get stronger.
Yes. Instead of just quitting and stopping because you had a challenge or a roadblock.
Or a hurdle or a setback, that's okay. Yes. You're not going to win every single time.
Climb over.
Right? You're not going to win every single time, and that's okay.
No.
But
each time you're going to be stronger. Each time.
Somewhere along the journey, we have internalized the notion that it's not okay to fail. It's not okay to fall. It's not okay to get knocked down. It's not okay to get uncomfortable.
To look funny.
It's not okay to be silly. Silly to who, right? Yeah. Who says this?
So forget it. Oh, you're not smooth at that moment. You fell, ice skating or whatever it is. You fell. Just get back up.
You learn.
Yes.
And so we want to encourage you guys to stop worrying about whatever other people say or what you think they might think.
Fumble. It's okay.
Most of the time, they don't care. They're not as in tune to you and what's going on in your life as you think they are.
Let them snicker.
Let them snicker
and then laugh at it and laugh along with them.
And also, though, don't make the monsters bigger than what they actually are. And a lot of people make these hairy, scary monsters under the bed, in the closet. And
they're not even doing it. You are.
They're not really there. You think that they're there. You've conjured them up, just like kids again. We take it back to the kids. They think something's there. But we know as adults, nothing's there. Nothing's there.
Even if you read something about you, just laugh at it. They don't even know you.
Right. So you just
don't care.
You keep moving. And yet a lot of times we put the obstacles. We don't want to look funny. Funny to who? We don't want to fall down. To who? Why? What's going on, right? And so don't let those mind games control you. Just go and just do. And if you fall down, great. If people see you, awesome. If they care, who cares?
Right in.
If you fall down again, well, then you've learned different ways not to do it, or you've gotten stronger from those times, or those hurdles, or those setbacks, or those challenges. And so you're getting comfortable getting uncomfortable and pushing and growing. And that's how you start a change. That's how you go from the safe end with this little ripple to something that's actually bigger, something that's more of a wave, something that's going to create a bigger impact in your life, in your family's life. And then that's going to
help you with your goals and plans also.
Correct.
That you're going to want to do, because you're riding that wave, and then everything you set for yourself is able to grow because you're at a different vantage point, and then you're going to say, okay, I made it. Let's strive for something more.
And, take this back to all areas and aspects of your life, right? Nutritionally, what are you eating? What kind of workouts are you doing?
What do you put in your brain?
What are you putting into your mind? What are you reading? What are you absorbing? What are you watching? What are you doing? Who are you hanging around with?
Yes, who's around you?
Who are you listening to? Who are you taking advice from? What are the things that you're doing at work or in business or in your relationships and so in your finances? All these different things, there's multiple levels and multiple layers to this. You just have to start with one or two and start moving the chess pieces a little bit. This is not a one and done. This is a multi-move type of thing. But you have to move one to move the other and to move the other, and you've got to just keep moving.
And you're going to have to say bye-bye to certain people. Just know that ahead of time, because of that negativity in your ear. You don't want to hear that when you're on your own journey. And,
there's not everybody's there to serve you, right?
No.
Not everybody's there that's helping you get to where they were good for where they were good for, and yet, you can acknowledge that and then be okay with moving forward.
Don't let them pull you down.
And they're going to want to pull you down, right? And so you have to be strong enough with where you're going and what you're wanting to do that kind of thing doesn't affect you. It's like crabs in a bucket, right? One starts crawling up, the others start pulling them back down. And so it's like, no,
don't let that be
I know where I'm going. I can see it. I can see my wave. I know what I want to do. I know how I want to elevate. I don't want to keep getting pushed back down and splash. You got to be able to see it.
Yes, you can see it. Just take time to focus on what you really want.
And that's why we talk about visualizing and seeing it and feeling it and saying it and writing it down and really being in that.
Engulfed.
So that way, when you get knocked down, it hurts a little bit.
Yes.
You got to brush it off, maybe put a little ice on it. You know why you're doing the things that you're doing, because you have that vision. You have that goal. You have that dream. You can feel it because you're seeing it, you're writing, you're doing it. And so that helps with, the bumps and bruises that come along the way.
Yeah, they'll come and go.
They do.
Just get some ice and you'll be okay.
Yep. Just like maybe put a little Band-Aid on there. Just like
yes,
the kids.
Little boo-boo.
Yeah, got a little boo-boo. Slap a Band-Aid on, makes everything look better.
Yes.
And you put your mind on and the main thing is get your mind off of it and put it back on where it needs to be.
Right. Then you won't feel it.
If you focus on the ouchie, right, and the boo-boo, it seems like it hurts more.
Just like our son is sore, just go stretch.
Yeah, go stretch. Keep moving. Same thing for anything.
Right.
It's like,
don't stop.
The best way is through. Continue to do the things that you're doing and move forward while you're doing them.
Yes,
and the only way
effect.
To get there is to have a little pain, because then you're actually doing something different.
And start looking forward to it.
Yeah, especially when you're working out. Like your muscles are gonna be a little
coming.
sore. And guess what? That's part of it.
It's okay.
It's not a bad pain. It's not a hurt pain. There's a difference.
Yes.
Right? There's a soreness versus there's something wrong here.
Just keep going.
So you've got to acknowledge that in life too. Like, am I really hurt? Am I, do I need to, or did it just hurt a little bit?
Put the phone down. Don't call the doctor.
So is this just, am I a little sore or am I actually hurt? And you know the difference between the two.
Have some Soleil, you'll be okay. Get those minerals back in.
We appreciate you guys joining us on this conversation.
Thank you.
And we love hearing from you. We love hearing how you're continuing the conversation, how you're applying this into your life, how you're going to, change it from a ripple to a wave. We want to know what waves are you going to be riding? Hey, what's your surfboard look like?
Yes,
Do you have a boogie board? You got a surfboard? What are we doing with this?
Ride that wave.
And how are you pushing past where you're at, getting uncomfortable?
Get past those pain points.
To get to that next level. We love you guys. We appreciate you joining us today. Remember, we can do it.
And so can you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.